Granblue Fantasy Relink, in a word, to me, is home. Now you may say to yourself, what the hell does that mean? And to answer your question, I would say, I don't know. I'm not scripting this. I don't know what that means either. But what I would say is there's something so incredibly warm, inviting, nostalgic, and welcoming about Granblue Fantasy Relink that I was completely shocked by when I played this game. For me, being that this is a music channel, my emphasis is always going to be on the music. But this game and this gameplay and this story has just been the homiest, most loveliest experience I have had in a very long time. And honestly, Granblue Fantasy Relink, as a huge JRPG and RPG fan, this game is easily one of my top 10 video games of my entire life. I'm not speaking in hyperbole when I say that. This game is wonderful. For anybody that's into JRPGs or anybody that's into stories with a ton of heart and characters that are vibrant and worlds that are beautiful, gameplay that is incredibly satisfying, and with an endgame content, post-game content that is so rich and full of potential. It's just too hard to deny how good Granblue Fantasy Relink actually is. Now, of course, this is a music channel, and so I want to focus on the music because this music is just insane. And this music actually reminds me so much of my youth and so much of that nostalgia feeling that I get when I play old school Final Fantasies. And yet this is a piece that I've never heard of before. Now, it makes sense because the original Granblue was composed by Uematsu and Tsutomu Narita. And it's just perfect. I almost don't even want to make this video because I don't really know what I'm going to say because it's so good and it like fills me with such a feeling of joy. It's just incredible. Let's listen to a couple tracks that really stood out to me, but I have to start with the ending. End of Ragnarok is just incredible. And so you go through this entire journey and there are so many great pieces of music with the fights with the primals and so on and so forth, but then you come and arrive to this, the end of Ragnarok, and I'm not going to spoil it. This is a non-spoiler review and music impressions video. Like the smile I had on my face when I got to this, it's just astounding. The entire last sequence of this game, there were 3 false endings, which felt a little bit like it dragged out, but then when every single payoff at the end of each of these last chapters in chapter 8, chapter 9, and chapter 10 were so worth it because each of those moments brought the excitement of the next chapter. It just jumped off on it and it was so satisfying to then get to end of Ragnarok. We start with this beautiful choral singing, which I always love as a classical musician, but then what's even more exciting to me is we dive into a modernized approach to how we view classical music. And that's what's awesome about Granblue Fantasy's soundtrack, is that it has elements of prog rock, it has elements of classical music, and it intertwines those so sublimely well, so effectively well, that you can't help but have a smile on your face, because there's something here for you if you like both of those genres. And the crazy part about End of Ragnarok is, of course, this moment. Key change right there. What an absolute banger. But the point is that we have this glorious, glorious start with this chorus, and then we launch into this heroicism that we hear musically. And that's the thing that really stunned me about Granblue Fantasy Relink as a whole, is the optimism that we see within these characters, the joy we see for their interactions, this friendship, the power of friendship, which is such a funny trope, but it just works. I saw some complaints in other reviews that felt that the story was a little bit predictable and obvious, but my God, there's something so satisfying about killing a god and in doing that with your friends. That is just one example of how good this soundtrack is. But also what I'd like to just point out is that that's more or less the last track of the game. But when we start the game, we get this. Hope, effervescence, positivity, joy, a new beginning. Bouncing strings, bouncing woodwinds, long bowing here, welcoming the new beginnings. Clear horizons, the sky is open to us. Listen to that gorgeous harmony here. This theme is what Granblue Fantasy Relink is all about, and Granblue as a whole. There's such a warmth that exists in this game. And even though you face primal beasts and you face God, all of that is done kind of with a smile. You know, and there's a sense of adversity, yeah, but there's just such a feeling of joyfulness that comes through. Another track that has a lot of joy in it, Folka's theme. Like, you feel that it has a sense of nostalgia to it. It's so, it feels very welcoming, very warm, very inviting. That flute mixed with that accordion, it's sublime. There's one boss fight I have to talk about, and that is the fight with Monogamra. Doesn't roll off the tongue. What an amazing track. You hear all this classical music and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're thrust into this. And then you move into phase 2. It's just such an incredible piece of music, and that is just 3 or 4 of the tracks that make this game so profoundly good. It's just an amazing experience from start to finish. It's so bright, it's so joyous, it's so wonderful. Life at times can be really difficult, and so to be able to go and play a game like this that is very inviting, where we feel powerful, where we feel supported by friends that we've made along the way, where we feel empowered to play characters that are really, really, really powerful and strong, to be able to soar the skies and to be able to help the world around us, it's just a really good feeling. And this music, I think, really aids that story, aids in telling us about the experience of what it means to be a part of something bigger than us. The world is so bright, welcoming, for the most part. Beautiful impressionistic paintings all around us while we play. Beautiful art direction. It's impossible not to like. It's impossible to not smile. And I have to say, this is probably, like I said, one of my favorite games of all time. Easily one of my top 10 games ever. I'm so excited to dive into more of the end game, more of the post-game content that come. And as always, thank you. Feel free to like, subscribe, check out the links in the About section if you want to support the channel. And as always, thanks a ton, and I'll see you later.